Welcome back. Now they are in your neighborhood and ideally should serve your travel purposes. But how safe are our MRTS stations, especially during non-peak hours and at night time? Panchami Warrior goes station hopping to give you this status report. Most of us prefer to travel by the MRTS. It is fast and there is no traffic jam during peak time. But many women give MRTS the thumbs down to entering even the station, especially the lonely afternoon and night hours.
Yeah, I normally don't prefer using the stations after 8 o'clock because it's very deserted, so I often opt the other modes of transportation.
People say the MRTS stations are filthy, never maintained and home to drunks, beggars and stray dogs. And during park hours, being in any of these stations could actually be asking for trouble since you hardly see any police presence in all of these long stretches.
It is 8 o'clock and I'm in Taramani station in Chennai. As you can see behind me, it is dark, deserted and dingy here. No woman would want to be here after the sun is down. In a city like Chennai that does not sleep by 8 o'clock and there are hundreds of thousands of women returning home from work after the sun is down, it is clearly not enough to provide modern means of transport without the infrastructure or the personnel to support it. With camera person Madan, this is Panchami for NDTV Hindu.
Well, the tripartite talks on the contentious issue of the operation of dyeing units in Tirupur, the resultant environmental costs and the order of foreclosure by the Madras High Court today failed to take a decisive turn. The talks were held between the government, dyeing units representatives and farmers representatives held in the presence of Chief Secretary Debendra Nath Sarangi and Industries Minister C. Mugavel. With no amicable solution so far, the talks are expected to continue again on Monday. Well, in some national updates now, a setback to operations to salvage MV Wisdom, the 9,000-ton ship that ran aground on the Juhu beach last week. Now, the cable laid to tow away the ship has been snapped apparently after the tugboat went over it. Now, the ship cannot be towed today as the cable can only be laid during low tide. The success of the operation depends entirely on the weather and high tide. Tugboats will try to pull out the ship and take it to Gujarat's shipbreaking yard in Alang. Well, meanwhile, MV Suez, the Egyptian-owned merchant vessel released by Somalian pirates, will reach Oman tomorrow. 6 Indian merchant seamen are on board and were in the captivity of pirates for 10 months before they were released. Now, the ship is 140 nautical miles away from Salalah and is not expected to reach Oman before sunrise tomorrow. Now, the ship has damage to one of its boilers and its engine. 9 Pakistani Navy commandos are on board. Since yesterday, the ship received protection from Pakistani warship PNS Babar, which will accompany it to Oman. The ship with its crew was released by Somalian pirates on Tuesday after spending 10 months in captivity. This was largely due to the efforts of Pakistani activist Ansar Barni. Well, in more national updates now, the opposition has launched a scathing attack on the government over the CAG report into the Reliance, which said that the Oil Ministry and DG Hydrocarbons have allegedly favored the company. Now, while BJP's Murli Manohar Joshi demanded a probe into the matter, the CPM demanded action against those concerned.
सरकार के पास रिपोर्ट है और सीएजी के पास से अगर हुई है तो उसकी भी जांच करें ना। हमने तो कहा कि इसकी जांच करें, रिपोर्ट कैसे लीक हुई, गवर्नमेंट के पास थी। और मेरी राय में ये एक प्रिविलेज का मसला है, इस पर हम विचार करेंगे, संविधान विशेषज्ञों से राय लेंगे।
Well, Delhi police today justified the Supreme Court its midnight crackdown on Yoga Guru Baba Ramdev and his supporters protesting against corruption and black money at the Ram Leela Maidan in Delhi, saying that permission had been given only to hold a yoga camp. Now, sources have told NDTV that its affidavit police have said that there was no lathi charge on Ramdev's followers, neither was there any order from top for the action. In fact, Ramdev's followers had provoked the police, that's what they are saying, throwing stones and flower pots at the police. Now, sources have also told us that the affidavit says that Ramdev was on the microphone instigating his followers. Well, in Andhra Pradesh now, classrooms in government schools are full this academic year, not with students though. Uma Sudhir tells you how a bumper harvest is ironically making students suffer.
Classrooms are all full this academic year, not with students but with stacks of paddy bags. A bumper harvest this Rabi season and not enough godowns to store has meant students in government schools are forced to sit out in the open, like at this school in Warangal.
రీఓపెనింగ్ నాడు స్కూల్కి వచ్చాను. అప్పటి వరకు వడ్ల బస్తాలతో కింద కూర్చుందామంటే వరి మొలిచి అంత చిల్లంకల్లంగా ఎక్కడ పడేసి అక్కడ ఎవరు పట్టించుకోకుండా అధికారులు స్పందించకుండా వాటిని ఎక్కడ ధాన్య బస్తాలు ఉంచడం.
Primary schools, secondary schools, welfare hostels, even the playground has not been spared.
మా ప్రేయర్ చేసుకోవడానికి కూడా గ్రౌండ్ లేదు. సార్లు కూడా మాకు క్లాస్ రూమ్ లో బస్తాలు వేసిళ్ళు. సార్లు కూడా బయట కూర్చొని మాకు లెసన్ చెప్తున్నారు.
The irony is that the state government has started an ambitious enrollment drive even as existing schools have no space for students.
ఉదయం వస్తున్నారు, ఈ పరిస్థితి చూసి మధ్యాహ్నం వరకు కూడా రావడం లేదు. అసలు మేము విద్యార్థులను ఎక్కువ తీసుకొని వచ్చి దీన్ని సక్సెస్ చేయాలని చూస్తే ఉన్న పిల్లలు కూడా రాలేని పరిస్థితి ఉన్నది.
The rainy season is almost here, but the rationale seems to be that students in education becoming a casualty is a smaller price to pay than allowing food grain to rot, even as inadequate storage space remains a perennial problem. In Hyderabad, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.
Well, moving on, actor Imran Khan has hit out at the Maharashtra government's decision to raise a minimum drinking age to 25. In a press conference in Mumbai today, he spoke out about his new campaign and how the 25-year minimum age for drinking speaks of the government's short-sightedness.
अगर आप एक adult हैं, अगर government का ये मानना है कि you are capable of getting married, of electing your government, of choosing who will lead our country, you are capable of joining the military, defending our country and giving your life to protect your country, you still feel that this person is not capable of taking a responsible decision. This to me reeks of a very short-sighted approach.
Well, it was neon green clothes and an afro for Chris Gayle, his all-new look during his last India West ODI. But it doesn't look like he's going to get a green signal for the Test series. The Jamaican had a stormy meeting with the officials of the West Indian Cricket Board on Thursday. And it's not just Test versus India, but his career that looks like it's jeopardized. Gayle's strained relationship with the board started since he chose to play in the IPL over a series versus Pakistan. And more from the world of sports badminton, and Saina Nehwal more specifically crashed out of the Singapore Open Super Series in the second round. Now the defending champion lost to unseeded Shao Chi Cheng of Chinese Taipei, Saina. The fourth seed played brilliantly to win the first game 21-8, but then her opponent made a tremendous comeback at one point, taking 13 consecutive points off Saina. Now the year's third Grand Slam Wimbledon gets underway in just a couple of days. The players let their hair down before that in the official pre-Wimbledon party.
Bethany Matic Sands is clearly the Lady Gaga of women's tennis. Her tennis ball-inspired outfit stood out more than anything else at the pre-Wimbledon party. Of course, everyone else looked sedate by comparison, including Lina, who's still basking in the glory of a French Open win.
Yeah, I mean, in the final day, I'm not so excited, you know. But in next day, I was wake up and I was like, ask my husband, it's real or dream, you know. I still didn't believe the travel was in the top of the table. I still didn't believe I win the French Open.
Our very own Sanya chose a hot pink, while Maria Sharapova dazzled in red. But it didn't matter who wore what, since everyone seemed to be having a great time.
It is very good distraction, and this is one of, I think, most of the players' favorite players' party, and it's very upbeat and it's still very relaxing, great music, great food, drinks, and it's really enjoyable and a nice way to relax before Wimbledon starts.
True, once it starts, it's going to be fierce competition, even more with the Williams sisters back after their injury layoffs.
Well, the party needn't end there. There's a lot to watch out for, especially if you are a movie buff. Our senior editor, Bhama Ravi, will bring you the sneak peek. Over to you.
Thank you, Ashmit. In fact, we are looking at a number of films this week. I'll bring you all those updates right after the break.